2 points. Y'all see it right here. 4 3-pointers made with 7 assists. Caitlin Clark absolutely cooking tonight. I mean, at one point in the game, Caitlin literally had to put the team on her back and score and score and score. And I'm just like, yo, I don't know where the pick and roll went. I don't know where the offense at all went, but Caitlin had
32 points, 7 assists, 4 for 7 from three-point range, and a perfect 10 for 10 from the free throw line. This wasn't just another Caitlin Clark performance. This was a masterclass in offensive dominance that left defenders scrambling, fans roaring, and the entire arena wondering how you even begin to guard someone operating at this level. But here's what makes this game particularly fascinating. While Clark was putting up video game numbers, the Indiana Fever's offense revealed something critical, something that could determine whether this team makes noise in the playoffs or falls short when it matters most. Because when one specific player left the floor, everything changed.
My goodness, with the floater, knocking it down. I mean, dog, Caitlin Clark had to get 50 people to map in this game. 50. Yeah, it's not even that many players on the floor. But man, she was losing the crowd, losing the players. Look at this. Bang! Caitlin was cooking, dog. Look, she had to shake her own head. She's like, man, I'm too good. What is going on here? Look at this. Salsa.
Watch that sequence again. The between the legs dribble. The floater with perfect touch. That's not luck. That's not even just skill. That's a player who's reached a level of comfort and confidence where she's not just beating defenders, she's toying with them. The step-back three, the screen navigation that looks choreographed, every move calculated, every shot falling. And notice something else in that clip, the crowd reaction, the opposing player's body language. There's a moment where defenders literally stop and look at each other, trying to figure out who's supposed to pick her up. That's not a defensive breakdown. That's what happens when someone elevates their game to a level the opposition simply isn't prepared for.
The prescriptions. Look, get the steal. She's going downhill on you. Ooh, with the half spin once again. Get her the map. She don't know where she going. I mean, get these players a GPS out here because they are lost souls out here. This is crazy work, man. I felt so bad for them. I'm like, dang.
Now, here's where this performance gets even more impressive. Clark wasn't just scoring, she was orchestrating. 7 assists means she's creating opportunities for teammates while putting up 32 points herself. That's the definition of complete offensive control. But pay attention to what's happening on the defensive end in these clips. The Storm tried everything. Full court pressure, switching defenses, doubling off screens. Nothing worked. Music. And when you force a team to throw multiple defensive schemes at one player and she still drops 32, you're watching something special.
Ooh, I saw the chat too. The chat was like, ooh. Doing them dirty, man. Now, hey, I got to give props to Natisha Eideman too. Natisha Eideman, I don't know what she was on, man. You give the CC1s to anybody, they don't even have to wear them, just touch them, and all of a sudden they turn into Michael Jordan. Like, what in the world, man? Hey, somebody get me some CC1s because I could probably make it to the league touching those shoes. You saw Natisha Eideman was shooting out there?
Mitchell, 28 points, 9 for 18 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3. This is the backcourt dominance that makes Indiana dangerous. When both guards are cooking like this, when Mitchell wakes up in the fourth quarter and drops 18 points in a single period, you're looking at a team that can score with anybody. That step-back 3 Mitchell hit, the hesitation move that left her defender frozen. This wasn't just complimentary scoring. This was Mitchell taking over stretches of the game, giving Clark rest, keeping the pressure constant. The chemistry between these two guards is reaching a level where defenses have to pick their poison, and both options burn you.
Getting in the live with this game is when Aliyah Boston goes out, that offense turned stagnant. I mean, it was not pretty basketball on that offensive end. They had moments on the defensive side where they were giving up shots or whatnot, but that's not really where my bone is picked, all right? I think they just needed to figure out how to move that ball around on the offensive side and get clearer shots, higher percentage shots, more open shots. They were contested.
The problem that emerged in this game. the offensive stagnation when Aliyah Boston left the floor. Watch what happens to Indiana's ball movement, their shot selection, their entire offensive flow when Boston sits. Suddenly, it's contested shots, tough looks, players forcing things instead of running clean sets. This is the critical issue for the Fever moving forward. Against Seattle, they survived because Clark and Mitchell were unconscious from the field. But what happens against a Minnesota Lynx defense? Against a New York Liberty team that can switch everything and has the defensive personnel to make life difficult? You can't rely on two players shooting lights out every single night.
Once Aliyah Boston went out, was going to have to dominate, man. And she woke up and did that. 28 points, 9 for 18 from the field, 4 for 7 from the 3, 6 for 6 from the free throw line, 2 boards, 2 assists with 2 TOs and 1 steal. And that's another thing. Hey, y'all need to start giving these players their heat checks. All right, I don't know what it is about seeing a player knock down 2 threes and then not giving them their heat check. Get them that ball back, man. Come on now. Lexi Hall, man. Look, Lexi, I need you.
Look at these numbers. Aliyah Boston, 11 points, 4 for 7 from the field before the injury. She was on pace for a massive game. 14 points, 11 rebounds, complete control of the paint. And then she goes out, and suddenly Indiana's giving up 16 offensive rebounds. 16. That's not a coincidence. Boston's presence on both ends creates space, creates rhythm, creates the structure that allows Clark and Mitchell to operate freely. Without her, the offense becomes isolation heavy. The defense loses its anchor. And against elite teams, that's the difference between winning and losing playoff series.
All right, Hines Allen, 5 points, 2 for 4 from the field, 1 for 1 from the 3, 4 boards, 1 assist. Shout out to her. KK with 4 points, 2 for 3 from the field, taking care of business. 4 boards for her and a block. I like that. Sophie, I don't understand why this is Sophie Cunningham's first half points. All right, first half stats. It did not change. It did not change. She did not.
Let's talk about something that doesn't show up in the box score, but matters tremendously. Shot selection and offensive flow. Indiana shot 52% from the field and 54% from 3 in this game. Those are elite numbers. But watch how many of those shots were contested, how many required difficult finishes, how much individual brilliance was necessary. Sophie Cunningham, 11 points in the first half, 3 for 4 from 3, then 0 shot attempts in the second half. 0. That's not a player going cold. That's an offensive system breaking down, failing to find open shooters, losing the ball movement that created those first half opportunities. Against Seattle, Clark and Mitchell bailed them out. Against better teams, that's a loss. Here's what makes Caitlin Clark's performance even more remarkable when you break down the context. She scored 32 points on just 14 field goal attempts. That's insane efficiency. She got to the free throw line 10 times and made every single one. That's not just shooting ability. That's understanding how to draw fouls, how to attack defenders in ways that force officials to blow the whistle. And look at the shot distribution. 7 three-point attempts, 7 makes from inside the arc, 10 free throws. She's not just camping behind the line. She's not just driving recklessly. She's mixing up her attack, keeping defenses honest, forcing them to respect every part of her game. When she comes off a screen, you don't know if she's pulling up from 30 feet or attacking the rim. That's what makes her impossible to guard. The 7 assists tell another story. Clark's not hunting stats. She's making the right play. When Mitchell gets hot in the fourth quarter, Clark feeds her. When Boston had position early, Clark found her. The basketball IQ on display here is what separates good scorers from elite offensive players. She's reading defenses in real time, making split-second decisions that consistently result in the best possible outcome for her team. But let's address the elephant in the room, the defensive rebounding. Indiana got out-rebounded on the offensive glass 16-6. That's a massive disparity. Seattle had 16 second chance opportunities, while Indiana had 6. Against a team shooting poorly, that didn't matter. But think about what happens when you give Minnesota 16 extra possessions, or Las Vegas, or New York. You lose by 20. This is where Boston's absence hurt most. She's not just a scorer. She's the defensive anchor, the rebounder, the player who ends possessions. Without her, Indiana's giving up way too many second chances. And in a playoff series, that's how you lose games you should win. That's how superior talent gets neutralized by effort plays and offensive rebounds. The personnel decisions in this game also raise questions, leaving Dawson on Jewel Lloyd when Lloyd went 0 for 6 from 3. Music, that's the kind of defensive assignment that seems minor, but reveals bigger issues with game management. Why are you putting your best perimeter defender on someone who can't hit shots tonight? Why not adjust and put that defender on Ezi Magbagor, who dropped 33 points? These are the details that separate good coaching from great coaching. The adjustments that happen in real time, reading what's working and what's not. Maximizing your personnel based on how the game is actually unfolding rather than sticking to a predetermined plan. Indiana won this game by 26 points, so it didn't matter. But in a close playoff game, those decisions become the difference. Kelsey Mitchell's fourth quarter explosion deserves more attention. 18 points in one quarter. That's not just hot shooting. That's a player taking over when her team needed it most, when the game could have gotten tight, when Seattle was trying to make one last run. Mitchell said no. She hit step-back threes, attacked the rim, got to the free throw line, and put the game completely out of reach. This is what makes Indiana's backcourt so dangerous. You can't just focus on Clark. You can't just scheme for Mitchell. When both are rolling, when both are confident, when both are making shots, there's no defensive answer. You're picking which poison you want to die from, and most nights both poisons are lethal. The three-point shooting in this game was absurd. 54% from three as a team. Clark went 4 for 7. Mitchell 4 for 7. Cunningham 3 for 4. When Indiana shoots like that, they're beating anybody. The problem is consistency. Can they shoot like this on the road? Can they shoot like this when the pressure ramps up in the playoffs? Can they shoot like this when defenses are specifically game planning to take away the three? That's the question that will determine Indiana's ceiling this season, because the talent is there. The star power is there. Clark just put up 32 and 7. Mitchell just dropped 28 with 18 in the fourth. Boston, when healthy, controls the paint. The pieces are in place, but can they execute consistently when it matters most? The offensive stagnation without Boston is the biggest concern. It's not just about her scoring or rebounding. It's about what she provides structurally. The pick-and-roll threat, the post presence that forces help defenders, the screening that creates space for Clark and Mitchell. When she's out, the offense becomes too perimeter-oriented, too reliant on difficult shots, too dependent on individual brilliance. And while Clark and Mitchell can provide that brilliance most nights, you can't build a championship team on that foundation. You need structure. You need ball movement. You need high-percentage looks from multiple players. You need an offense that functions even when your stars are having off nights. Indiana doesn't have that yet, and until they develop it, they're going to struggle against elite defensive teams. The shooting percentages masked a lot of issues in this game. Yes, they shot 52% from the field, but how many of those makes were contested? How many required difficult finishes? How many possessions ended with tough shots that just happened to fall? When you watch the film, the offensive execution wasn't as clean as the final numbers suggest. This is where coaching and system development become critical. Creating an offense that generates clean looks consistently, teaching players how to move without the ball, how to set effective screens, how to recognize defensive rotations and exploit them. Indiana has the talent to score on anybody, but do they have the system to sustain that scoring when shots aren't falling? The contrast between halves is telling. First half, Cunningham gets 11 points on great ball movement and open looks. Second half, she doesn't attempt a single shot. That's not random. That's a breakdown in offensive structure. The ball stopped moving. The sets got stagnant. Clark and Mitchell had to create everything in isolation. It worked because they're that talented, but it's not sustainable. So, where does this leave Indiana heading into the most critical stretch of the season? They've got the star power. They've got the backcourt that can go toe-to-toe with anybody. They've got Boston, when healthy, providing interior presence. But they've also got questions. Can they maintain offensive flow without Boston? Can they clean up the defensive rebounding? Can they execute consistently against elite competition? This 32-point performance from Clark shows the ceiling. When she's operating at this level, when Mitchell is matching her, when the shots are falling, Indiana can beat anybody. The question is the floor. What happens on nights when the shooting isn't there? What happens when defenses adjust and take away the three? What happens in playoff series when every possession matters and you can't rely on individual brilliance alone? The talent is undeniable. The potential is enormous. But championship teams need more than talent. They need system. They need consistency. They need the ability to win games in multiple ways. Indiana's still developing that, and the clock is ticking because the playoffs don't care about potential. They reward execution. And right now, Indiana's execution is elite when their stars are hot and questionable when they're not. So, enjoy this performance. Appreciate what Clark did. Recognize Mitchell's brilliance. But also understand that for Indiana to achieve their ultimate goals, they need to solve the problems that this game exposed. The offensive stagnation without Boston, the defensive rebounding issues, the inconsistent shot distribution. These aren't minor concerns. These are the difference between a first-round exit and a championship run. What's your take? Can Indiana fix these issues before the playoffs, or are they too dependent on Clark and Mitchell's individual brilliance? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe, because we're breaking down every critical game as this playoff race heats up.